Hello and welcome to our video. Today I want to showcase a little bit of early invading and what is really possible with that in terms of the theory behind it. So first of all, why would we do it and when can we do it, right? So why would we do it? We want to force the enemy to play on different sides of the map. We want to abuse laners and we want to create a lead that otherwise would not be created if we just played full clear versus full clear, whatever the fuck, right? And when can we do it? So we either need strong laners or we need to be strong ourselves as the jungler, right? So here I'm thinking if I am something like jungle Cortis or something, then most of the time I can invade. If I have something like Lucian Milio bot lane, most of the time I can invade. If I have something like Fiora top lane, most of the time I can invade, stuff like that, right? And then what can we really achieve here? So when we invade, the enemy say red buff or something. So the way we would approach this is by invading through one of these ways, right? And invading it kind of late, but also sweeping and making sure we aren't spotted and whatever. Okay, when we invade, there are kind of two outcomes, right? So either the enemy is there, right? Or the enemy is not there. So if the enemy is there, then we just fight it and we just get a lead no matter what, basically, unless we lose the fight somehow. Because if we're invading, we should be stronger, so we either kill the enemy or we force them off their camps or whatever. And if you force them off their camps or you kill them, then you have as many options as you want. You can go bot, you can go mid, you can go like invade their top side as well. It doesn't really matter, you can do whatever you want. It's all winning. Sorry. Honestly, you can even do this. You can go like quick gank in bot lane and you can just clear up. Depending on the champ you play, if you clear like really well. If you don't clear that well, then you can do like this and then you can go mid and then you can clear your top side or whatever. And either way, it's really fine. Okay, now what if the enemy was not there though, right? That is more interesting. So if they're not there, then either they started here or they started here, right? Or something like that most of the time. So, okay, how do we approach these? The first scenario, let's say, is when the enemies are in your camps. So that means we just kind of split the map. We're doing the same kind of clear, both us and the enemy. But there isn't really too much to say about that. Like, if we're doing this and our idea was that we want to abuse this side of the map, so abuse enemy bot lane or something, then we should be perfectly fine with this because we're just going to do these camps and we're going to be able to abuse bot lane. They can only abuse top lane. And if we're forcing this, then we shouldn't really care about top lane as much. What about if they started here? Well, that's a bit more punishable by us. So a lot of time people get baited into doing like all three of these camps and whatever. But realistically, you can just do like two of these camps and you can drive by gank mid lane or something. Then you can do like your top side camps, but only do like two of them or something. And then it's like, okay, well, I did this and this and this and this, right? So I did 4 camps and they did, let's say, these camps, right? They could also meet you here in your red buff, but we're obviously doing this clear with the assumption that we are stronger and we should have mid lane prio because we walked through mid lane and we kind of ganked it, right? Then, okay. So where does the enemy go now, right? They should probably go to your blue side. So then you have to decide, okay, well, I could now try to take this camp and then just like cut my losses, right? Or I could try to fight them for every camp here, right? So that's really up to the jungle matchup and the lane matchup again. But why is invading so nice, both for you and for your laners? Well, okay, let's say that we play against one of the more popular champions at the moment in the meta, so something like Kha'Zix or Hecarim or Evelynn or whatever, like just these types of champs, right? If Hecarim does not get to do a full clear, he is really not happy, right? So stopping him from full clearing is amazing, especially if we can fight him level 1. Like, he doesn't do that much level 1. If he stacks his Q already, yeah, he's pretty strong level 1. But before he stacks it, it takes him quite a while to ramp up. So a lot of champs do still beat him. And even if you don't stomp him, it's a lot worse for Hecarim to go something like this then it is for him to go to his own camps. And why is that? Very simple, because while he's walking from wolves to the enemy raptors, he's going to lose all of his Q stacks, right? It's also quite bad for Kha'Zix, because then Kha'Zix doesn't get to use his E as easily to get on a camp. It's also kind of meh, because then he's forced to clear, right? Because when you're doing this, you're basically saying, okay, well, if you don't clear my camps, then I'm just going to clear all of your camps, and I'm going to clear all of my camps, and I'm gonna get one scuttle probably anyway, right? So basically you're getting 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, so you're getting 10 camps, so you're getting 40 CS. And they are getting 12 plus 1, so 16. And being 40 CS to 16 is kind of disgusting, right? So people would prefer not to be that behind. What people sometimes do, though, is they will do their own camp, and then they will do 3 of yours, and then they will leave like 2 of theirs up, which is also an adaptation that can happen. Sure. But then how does this benefit laners a lot, right? So junglers get the benefits because, first of all, you're getting to choose where the enemy jungler passes and where he can gank and where he can impact the map. You're getting to choose how to split the map. You're getting to maybe put the enemy jungler really behind. You're in a more proactive spot on the map and so on. So how do laners benefit, right? Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind, right, is something like Jhin Senna or something that people play. So these lanes where they have double range, full poke, complete half to stomp lane, right? How the fuck do they get when suddenly they're completely weak-sided because you take all of this? If they try to fight or walk up, they will just die. And if they don't, then they're getting pushed in by laners they're not supposed to get pushed in by, which artificially gives your laners a lead, right? And more control over the lane. Obviously, the lower elo you go, the less applicable that stuff is, but at the same time, it still is something that does exist. I think these invades peak the most around Diamond and Master elo, and I think below something like Diamond, you don't really have that much of a reason to go for it, because as I've said before, if you, for example, play Evelynn, you just clear normally, you're going to do 6 camps when the enemy jungler has only done 5, so you kind of just win off following the most basic game plan in the world. And at the same time, I also don't think it's as optimal always above Master, because people start to cover well, people start to actually contest this better, like, I don't know, like do stuff, against it. So say, for example, they might ward against the level 1 invade, they might stack more people, like stack the mid laner or something on top, or whatever else it might be. So this would give you a quick overview of level 1 invades and get you thinking about them a little bit. Not really something that's too in-depth or too champion specific right now, but just something to think about, food for thought, as I've been playing quite a lot of Cortis and some Evelynn as well, and on both of these champs I do at least sometimes level 1 invade on Cortis most games, honestly, because he's so strong, and it gives me quite huge leads in pretty much any elo, kind of. But do keep in mind that you might want to play like this to play for bot lane, but the issue is that when the enemy jungler wants to play for bot lane, he will often start top side, right? And then while you do technically get somewhat of a lead by doing all of your camps and whatever, right? You're gonna have to capitalize it more efficiently, kinda, and adapt a bit more when the enemy jungler is not there, because even if you do something like this, and then do all of these camps, right? And I don't know, Scuttle or something. The enemy jungler could still gank and get kills, which could still be a problem for you, so you're still gonna have to adapt a bit to the game. Either way, though, if you enjoyed the video, then like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And yeah, if I make more videos, then maybe I'll make a more in-depth one on this stuff and more champion specific, and maybe examples or whatever. Either way, bye bye.